Fitness Professional online radio show, where fitness professionals from around the world come to get updates, share ideas, and learn from the pros. You can visit us at fitnessprofessionalonline.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/fitproonline. Now your host, Doug Holt.
Hello and welcome to Fitness Professional Online Radio. I am your host, Doug Holt. Thank you for joining us at this, our second edition of Fitness Professional Online Radio. I also want to take the time to thank all of you that sent in your comments via Facebook, email, or on our voice system here. Really love getting the feedback from you guys. This is our mission to educate the fitness community so you can go out and better help the rest of those in the world. We all know that there's a lot of people that need our services, so I greatly appreciate you taking that time. If you do like the show, we'd appreciate you taking a moment or two to go over to iTunes, assuming that's where you found us, and rating the show, giving us that all-important 5-star rating, and then letting everybody else know what you like about the show. Of course, there are areas that we do need to improve on. We are aware of that. We're fitness professionals, after all, not professional radio DJs, although we're working very hard at the other. We appreciate you giving us our feedback via email, if you can, info@fitnessprofessionalonline.com. We've received a lot of emails, and of course, as we're growing, we appreciate you keeping those emails brief and to the point, and that way we can get back to everybody as soon as possible. As many of you know, we planned on releasing FitnessProfessionalOnline.com in February of 2012. We were so overwhelmed by the number of people that were interested in contributing to our project and liked our mission statement that we decided to release the first edition, the rough release as we're calling it, or the first beta phase, on December 1st in a magazine style. We continue to work on that, but please look forward to a new edition each and every month on the 1st. So January 1st, we'll have our next edition. We've sourced many articles from some of the top names in the fitness community, trainers, certifiers, doctors, physical therapists, as well as professionals in the business sense. We all know that we have to keep our businesses going in order to help more people. So we really have kind of stretched our bounds a bit, and we've taken all the comments and thoughts that have been sent in to us. If you have any editorial content that you believe that we should cover, people we should interview, or stories in the industry, please send them our way. We're always taking on new ideas. Some of the new things with the site coming up this month of December as well as January is educational institutions will be posting their educational opportunities onto fitnessprofessionalonline.com. So you're going to see a wide variety of educational opportunities and calendar of events. Now, I know this is December when we're actually broadcasting this episode, so many of you out there are getting continuing education units for either your certifications, your licensure, or just to keep your practice going. I know it's a last-minute scramble. I've been involved in it myself. December seems to be the one, and you always seem to miss a lot of the fun events, and you hear from colleagues. So our job is to present as many of those to you as possible in the coming months, as well as throughout the year, so you know what's going on and you don't miss a great event. Also, we had the Core Laser sent to us by Ryan Jeffrey of Laser Gym. We sent this out to strength coaches, physical therapists, chiropractors, and several personal trainers and asked them to utilize the Core Laser in their practice and give us feedback. You'll find that article on fitnessprofessionalonline.com under the product reviews. We were actually very impressed with the results that we got from the Core Laser, as well as the results that others got. So we decided to give Ryan a call and see if we can get him on the show. He'll be appearing next Wednesday, that's December 14th. We will be releasing that through our iTunes account as well as on fitnessprofessionalonline.com under the radio show. You'll be able to download that, listen to it while you're working out or in the car or wherever it's convenient for you. And also coming up in future editions of Fitness Professional Online, we will have your questions. We'll take a bunch of your questions and answer them with our panel of experts that we've brought in from the industry. We're really excited about that. And coming into the new year, we'll be producing more videos for you, so having video reviews. We'll be releasing a lot of these throughout the phases that we have. Again, we are in our beta phase release, or phase 1. We call it a soft release. And starting in January, you're going to see a lot more elements. So please go back to fitnessprofessionalonline.com often. Spread the word for us. Till then, without further ado, let's get into the call and see how Sean's doing. Hello, everybody, and we're here with Sean Croxton, founder of Underground Wellness at undergroundwellness.com and darksideoffatloss.com. Really excited to have Sean on the show today. I've been a big follower of his, as sure a lot of people have. If you haven't been to Sean's site, go to it as soon as possible. It's just great. It's got a lot of information, some amazing interviews from some of the brightest minds around the world. Real quick, a little bit about Sean. The word used to describe Sean mostly is passionate. The passion comes from a lifelong love of fitness and health and a dream to revolutionize the way the world thinks about health. Recognizing the failures of healthcare, Sean promotes a concept of self-care. In order to regain and or maintain superb health, we must become more responsible for ourselves. After graduating from San Diego State University in 2001 with a bachelor's in kinesiology with an emphasis in fitness, nutrition, and health, and a master's from Amazon.com, I love that. After years of study and a litany of classes and courses, Sean works with clients to uncover the root causes of their health challenges. He works with individuals from all over the world by phone and Skype from his home office in beautiful San Diego, California. Sean takes a holistic and functional approach to rebuilding health from the ground up. As a functional diagnostic nutritionist and certified metabolic typing advisor and currently enrolled in the Functional Medicine University program, Sean does not focus on symptoms. Rather, he is solely concerned with uncovering the root causes of health challenges. Sean is also a video blogger, a radio show host, and educator for the Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Live course. You can find a more complete bio on Sean on undergroundwellness.com or on fitnessprofessionalonline.com. So please join me in welcoming the man himself, Sean Croxton. Sean, thank you for.
I'm sorry, my bio is so long. My bad.
It's great. It was actually really hard for me to pare it down a little bit. And like I said, everybody can find the complete bio on you. I think it's a great story. As I told you earlier, your story really resonated with me myself. I've been in the fitness industry for, about almost 17 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And even as such, your basic story of you starting out as a trainer, coming out of college, learning all the facts and seeing the things around you weren't exactly adding up, that really rang true to me, and I saw a lot of myself in a lot of things that you were saying.
Yeah, it rings true with a lot of people. I don't think I'm unique in any way, when we talk about the fact that I used to apply things with my personal training clients that I thought were true, that I thought worked or were supposed to work, but absolutely did not, and a lot of times made my clients worse, and wasn't really working too well with myself either. And so, if it's not working, probably don't want to keep on doing it over and over again. And so I decided, hey, let's go see what else is out there. What can we learn? And found some pretty cool stuff. Really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier in the introduction, your blog, both your video blog and your radio show, are really on point. What I do is I download your podcast to my iPhone and to actually my iPod. And so when I'm either in the car or walking around my personal training studio, a lot of times I listen to that podcast kind of in the background or just taking a walk outside, and it's always exposes me to new ideas. And something I really enjoy about it is you don't always agree with everything that's being said, but you open up the conversation to the possibility that might be there. It really there's no dogma you're shoving down anybody's throat, which I really like.
Yeah, I try to stay as open-minded as I possibly can. I try not to discount things just, right offhand. Because, many years ago, if you would have told me some of the things that I'm saying now, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. I always say if somebody told me that little green men were living under my carpet, I would look, just to see and check things out. And, I just got to stay open-minded and try to look at all of the information and decide for myself, what makes sense. And, a lot of what I talk about makes a whole lot of sense to me. Some of it could be wrong, but a lot of it is right, and it works with real people.
Absolutely. Well, speaking about the green men under your carpet, what triggered you to make the move from personal trainer, very educated, obviously, personal trainer, to what I would call a health detective and reporter?
You said, I'm sorry, what was the question? What made me?
What triggered the response, or what made you decide, hey, look, I'm an educated personal trainer, obviously. You have a great background. But what kind of made that transition to what I would call a health detective and a reporter? at this stage?
Right. I just got burnt out from personal training. I personal trained for 8 years. Probably on year number 3, I was just kind of over it. You know what I mean? I felt like I was kind of faking the funk out there. I felt like I can do a whole lot more, especially after all the stuff that I was reading about, nutrition and digestion and all these other things that I wasn't really tackling as a personal trainer. And, my feet were hurting, you know what I mean? Being on my feet 8-9 hours a day was killing me.
Definitely.
I just kind of lost my drive for it after a while. I thought, hey, what else can I do? And I decided, hey, let's do some nutrition coaching. I like being at home. I like working from home. Let's create a job for myself at home that I can do over the phone and through Skype. And, it took a little while to build up the following and do the right marketing to bring the clients in. But, slowly but surely I was able to start phasing out personal training and get more into diet coaching. Then I stumbled upon Reed Davis in the Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Program, and that allowed me to really take things to a brand new level, using test kits, looking at people's hormones, doing stool testing and looking for parasites and all that fun stuff. And, that's where things really exploded for me in terms of my education as well as my success as a video blogger and a blogger, because I had so much stuff to talk about because there's so many things that aren't being covered very well by the mainstream. And so, that was my trick. I wanted to help people, I wanted to learn more stuff, and I wanted to get off my feet.
Yeah, well, you've obviously done a great job with it. When you started off as a blogger, you said that you kind of, it took you a while to build up your base with your business and finding things. Were there any key points that you'd recommend or key things that you hit that you said, this is the way to do it?
It's so funny. I get that question a lot. And to be honest, I did a lot of it unconsciously. And I think that it was just more a matter of just being real, being somebody who was relatable to people, combining education with entertainment. Because on a video blog, people don't go through YouTube typically to look for health information. And, they want to be entertained. They want to enjoy what they're watching. They want to feel like they know the person, whom they're learning from. And, again, I think I did it pretty unconsciously, but I just try to be a real person. I was very consistent with videos for a good 2-3 years, always putting out new stuff. And then eventually, maybe after a year or so after I started the YouTube channel, started the Blog Talk Radio channel, which really took it to another level because, instead of me being on camera with my hat on backwards talking about these serious health issues, I was able to bring the experts onto my show to verify and to confirm what I had been saying. So it gave it that third-party credibility, that third-party validation, which really took it to a whole new level. And so, that's kind of what I did, and I started with the thing that I was most comfortable with at first, which was video, moved to radio, and then moved on to writing. And, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've done a great job. And I saw, like most professional athletes, I noticed when I was reading The Dark Side of Fat Loss, you have a lot of coaches in there that helped you out throughout the time. And I think that's important for people to remember is, even if you're a professional athlete, even the best in the world always have somebody by their side. And I thought it was really neat that you kind of pointed out and called out everybody's names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a lot of mentors, a lot of help, starting with Todd Durkin, who was my first mentor and still is a mentor. I learned a lot from that guy. This has not been something that I did by myself. And getting a coach is huge. I just, I used to be a personal trainer, but I just hired myself a personal trainer just for the heck of it to push me further than I can push myself. And just got back right now, and I'm beat. I'll be honest. You know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. I appreciate you joining us. Right after a workout, that's dedication. I love it. Well, tell me a little bit and tell our listeners a little bit more about Underground Wellness, what you're trying to achieve with your site. You've got a ton of content on there. Give me a little bit of background on it and tell us a little bit more.
The goal is just to reach as many people as we possibly can, through the various forms that we have, again, radio, video, and blogging. I would love to reach, over 1 million people, by the end of next year, to have one of the most active blogs on the internet, the most active websites on the internet, and just to take this this underground information and make it more mainstream and accessible, where people don't feel like, hey, I always have to rely upon, the pills and potions to get myself better, because it's really not working at all for most people. It's just covering up a symptom. And so, I'm just here to educate people to start to think outside of the box. And, as you said in my bio earlier, I like self-care. Instead of being so dependent upon the healthcare industry to heal us, it's about time that we start taking responsibility for ourselves. And so, I think there's just a lack of education. People just don't know that this information is there. They don't know that there are these steps to follow. And, I think me and my team, we do a really great job of packaging it in a way that people get and they really identify with, and they want to come back for more. And so, we're chopping away. It started with 1 subscriber on YouTube, and now there's 40,000. It started with 5 people coming to the website per day, and now it's at a couple thousand. And so, it's steadily growing over time. And, I've got my list of goals right in front of me on my wall for this next 13 months, and, we're going to blow it up.
Share a couple of those with us.
Oh, gosh.
You
know what? The name of it on the headline is Before the World Ends in 2012.
I love it.
Underneath it says, actually, I don't really believe that the world is going to end, but why not just act like it? And so let's see some of my goals. Oh, man, what are the ones I want to share here? To be a much sought-after public speaker in the realms of health motivation and social media marketing, to get in the most ridiculous physical, mental, and cardiovascular shape ever. And the rest of them are kind of business type of goals that come along with the website that I can't share yet because I don't want to give away any of my ideas.
The secrets. I don't blame you.
I got to keep those secrets.
Like our buddy Todd Durkin says, 1% better every day, right?
Exactly. What did he say, 212 degrees or something like that? Like water boils at 212 degrees. At 211 it doesn't. But, boom, that 1 degree makes all the difference. So we're going up to 212 degrees. I think it's 212, something like that.
Yeah, it's 212. You're right on. No, it's great. I love that little video and that little story. I use it with my staff all the time, as much as probably too much. I love those things. Well, what are some of the big, there's so many discoveries the time that I've spent on your site and listening to your blogs, things that have really kind of tweaked the way I've thought about it from traditional, the college and post-graduate course textbooks I've read on nutrition, the macro, micronutrients and all these things. What are some of the discoveries that really kind of blew your mind, that really resonated as true to you along your path when you kind of found new things and talking to people?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that there is no one-size-fits-all diet. Everybody's so different with biochemical individuality, and so, you're never going to find any book, including mine, that tells you exactly what you should be eating, the exact plan. You're really rolling the dice because we're all so different. In my book, we have something called body language logs, where, you eat the real foods in particular proportions, and then you listen to your body language 1 to 2 hours, and you see or you translate what your body's telling you. Did you eat too much protein and fat? Did you eat too much carbohydrates? Or was everything just right? We've got all these different populations, such as the Maasai of Africa, who eat like an 80% protein and fat diet, who are perfectly healthy, don't have heart disease, no cancers and things of that sort. And then we have the Katavans of New Guinea, who have like a 70% diet, with carbohydrates. For example, they eat a lot of tubers and things of that sort, and they're perfectly healthy as well. And so, I think we get too much into this is the perfect diet for everyone type of approach, and it just doesn't work that way, and we need to quit thinking like that and start working with people and getting outside of this cookie cutter thing and working with them, on an individual level and customizing things for them. Also, as we talk about in the book, we're stuck in the box. No matter what kind of fitness goal or weight loss goal or health goal people have, it's just really all about diet and exercise, and it's such a limited approach, and it doesn't really seem to be working that well for a lot of people. And so, understanding how digestion and toxicity and stress and sleep and mindset, mindset is huge, how those are all involved with getting to where we want to go. That functional diagnostic nutrition course just really blew me away, and it was just a lot of stuff that had never even crossed my mind before. I never asked any of my personal training clients, how well do you sleep? How's your libido? Do you have sugar cravings, especially at night? These things are very important questions, and your clients are waiting for somebody to ask them that because, of course, they want to lose 30 pounds, but at the same time, they're not going to be happy being 30 pounds lighter but still having insomnia and still having no libido and still wanting to rob a candy store every day. No, want to keep these people completely healthy. So, my favorite quote ever, and I think I stole this from Diana Schwartzbein, author of the Schwartzbein Principle. I think I stole it. People say I stole it from her. It's totally unconscious. But it's, you don't lose fat to get healthy. You get healthy to lose fat. And so a lot of us are missing that. And when I say it to people, they always get this glazed look over their eye, and they go, oh, I never really thought about it that way. Like, yeah, you got to get healthy, and then your body will go back to where it needs to be. And so those are the probably most important things that I've learned over the last several years.
It's impressive, and a lot of that's in your book. Like I said, when I was reading through that, I love how you started off with. I'm going to quote it for a second. If I mess it up, I apologize. But I only agree to do this on one condition: that you forget everything you think you know about diet, health, fitness, and fat loss, and have an open mind to what you're about to read. And then you go on to say, seriously, I only want you to keep reading if you do that. And that helped me approach your concepts in the book, especially, and take a step back and say, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this agreement with Sean, because your writing style, it seems as if you're in the room when I'm reading your stuff, and it seemed like a personal agreement with you. I felt like I'd be lying to you, and I didn't want to do that.
Everybody says that. Like, it feels like you're right here. It's a trip. Your voice comes directly through this book. Oh, that's really cool. I'm really, really happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really comes through easily. There were a lot of other things that made me step back and really kind of redigest some of the things that I've held to be true. And a lot of, something I found was interesting with myself, and Sean, tell me if that's something you find, is you hear something and it resonates with you a little bit, and you almost need to hear it a second time in a different way. And that's what I found with reading through your book, for it to really stick and kind of bring that little light bulb to go off and go, oh, yeah, that's right. I need to be paying more attention to X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's just with everything. I mean, there's been so many times, I've even had people talk to me about certain things, just about life in general, and I go, I know this.
Yeah.
I just need somebody to say it to me, just to remind me of it, because sometimes our minds get a little bit sidetracked, and yeah, I think that's just human nature, to be honest, and we just need to be reminded, and I think that's what the book kind of does, is it reminds people, hey, you got to be healthy. Hey, you know what? You're supposed to go to sleep. Hey,
yeah.
You're supposed to go to the bathroom every day and not skip 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean? Hey, it might not be a good idea to rub chemicals all over your body. Just things like that. Like, hey, you guys know this, but let me give you the nuts and bolts and the how and the why behind it as well. That way you really get it, and now you have this resource that, hey, when you find yourself kind of slipping, you can just go back to the book and read through it again. And a lot of people said, hey, I read that book in one night. I just went straight through. I loved it. And, that's what we want. We want people to identify with the book and love it and just kind of use it as a guide, not only just to get started, but also to stay on course.
Yeah, that was me. I mean, one night I went through the whole thing and found myself really delving into it and enjoying it quite a bit. I got $1 million question for you. So you ready for this one? It's kind of the obligatory question. Where do you see the field of wellness going in the next few years? Maybe this is on your goal board.
I see it going, I see this wellness deal starting to get into traditional medical practices, like the paleo folks like Rob Wolf and these people. They're actually teaching doctors these days, and I'm meeting more doctors who are kind of gravitating more to that type of approach, real food, as I say, JERF, just eat real food, that type of approach, because people are realizing, especially the medical profession, hey, diet is important, and we didn't learn a whole lot about this in medical school. And now they're watching TV and going, hey, these drugs that we're putting people on are killing people. I mean, Michael Jackson would be the extreme example of it. We got celebrities just dropping because of all these pharmaceutical drugs. And so I think doctors are becoming a little more hesitant about so freely prescribing drugs. And I think now they're going to start to take more of a preventive approach and be like, hey, patient, have you ever thought about the foods that you eat? And so I see that starting to happen. And once that starts to happen, that's going to be huge because, we were raised to believe that our doctors knew everything. I mean, they're just so freaking influential in the decisions that we make. And when they take this information and apply it and give it to their patients, I think we're going to just a whole new planet with this. I just see this becoming not completely mainstream. I think that's going to take a long time, and we're really fighting a huge machine, when you talk about the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, just look at the influence of the food industry, getting Congress to make pizza a vegetable last week. You know what I mean? That's powerful right there. And so we do have, a huge mountain to climb, but we're certainly getting there. There's this video that I like to watch. It's called Will's Wisdom. It's on YouTube, and it's just all of these interviews with Will Smith, and he was talking about his dad, and his dad, had he and his brother build a brick wall. But the idea wasn't to build the wall, today. The idea was to build that wall brick by brick. You lay one brick, you lay the next brick, and then over time you have a wall. And so I think that's what we're doing right now. We're just laying down our bricks, and, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to have a wall. But it's better than having no bricks at all. And so I think that's what we're doing. We're working our way. We're moving in the right direction. So I tell my clients all the time, move in the right direction. That's all I want you to do. And that's what we're doing.
Oh, that's excellent. Will's Wisdom, huh? I'm going to have to check that out.
Oh, it'll fire you up, man. I'm going to watch it when I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to watch it as soon as we get done and do my job.
That sounds great. I'll probably be joining you online. Very cool. Very cool. I want to go back a second, and you mentioned Wolf and the paleo diet. And you hear that all over the place. People are talking about it, obviously, with the CrossFit growing as quickly as it is around the nation. What are your thoughts on the paleo diet as it applies to a blanket audience, as it's being kind of, I know you said that there's no one diet per person, which I completely agree with. But how do you feel about the paleo diet, as a lot of people are saying, well, everybody should start there as a baseline?
I like the paleo diet. It's so funny. The paleo diet is actually one of the first books that I read when I first started to change my approach to health and nutrition. And I like it for most people. When you talk about general population, like my mom, my aunt or something like that, it's going to be hard to get them to follow the paleo diet. And I feel like to a certain extent, it kind of labels people. I'm paleo. I think people can't resonate with that very much. I'm a fan of JERF. You just eat real food. And it's very similar to the paleo diet. It's pretty much the same thing, but we just need to start saying, hey, guys, you're eating processed foods at every single meal. Can you guys just eat real food? Can you give me 30 days without the processed crap? Can you give me 30 days without the gluten? Just get off the grains, period. Can you give me 30 days without the dairy? And just see how you feel. And you know what? You're a real person. You don't even have to be perfect. If you can do it 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm going to be happy because right now you're doing it wrong 80% of the time. And so, I feel like some diet approaches can be kind of strict, but that just depends on, the individual who's, talking about or kind of espousing these different dietary beliefs or whatever we'll call them. So, I love paleo. I think it's great. I'm speaking at the Paleo Effects conference in the next couple of months in March. I'm about to do actually I can't even give away that secret, never mind. But I think it's great. I think it's the way that we should eat. I think it's something that makes a whole lot of sense. But at the same time, to ask my mom to eat nothing but paleo is probably hard. We have to have some baby steps in between. And, that's my thing. It's really all about, I always say the best diet for somebody to stick to is one that they can stick to. And so, again, let's just start moving people in the right direction and get them through to that big wall that is paleo. But let's just start laying the bricks on them.
Very cool. Now, do you recommend when you're talking with people, whether it be your mom in this case or clients that you have, and I realize you do a full diagnostic with your clients, so that probably is a little bit different. But would you advocate someone say, hey, for 30 days, I want you to quit gluten, milk, or dairy in that case, alcohol, and a slew of things for those 30 days, or do you eliminate one at a time typically?
Typically, we try to do it all, and the client slips every so often, but I don't get mad at them. We really, really try to do it all. But then again, I will bump into some clients who are just extremely resistant, and I say, okay, Mrs. Nelson, just like you said, let's start with the grains. Let's pull those babies out, and I'll give her the proper expectations. Hey, you're probably not going to feel too good for a few days. You're going to have some sugar withdrawal, some grain withdrawal. It has opiate-like effects on the brain. You're not going to feel great. But after that, you're going to feel so much better. And then a week into it, 10 days into it, hey, Mrs. Nelson, can we pull this you see how much better you feel? Hey, a lot of people have problems with dairy as well. And maybe some of these symptoms that you have, lingering still are because of dairy. Do you mind pulling those out for another 10 days and let's see what happens? All right, let's do it. You got to give the client some confidence. You got to give them the confidence that you know what you're talking about and also that they can do it. You know what I mean? And so it's got to be an individual kind of mentality here. It can't be cookie cutter like, hey, I'm taking everybody off of grains, milk, and whatever. It's just not going to happen that way. So you got to tailor it to the person.
So there's no Gestapo type thing going on at the Croxton household.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons that people like me so much is because I keep it real, and I even know myself. I slip off it as well. You might catch me out one day throwing down a hamburger, with a wheat bun. You never know, and so I just try to be realistic. I encourage people to not be the weird one. Don't be that weird person who, won't eat at a restaurant because the food's not organic. Don't be the weird person who doesn't go out with their friends anymore because they're afraid to be put in such and such situation. It's food. I mean, your friends aren't asking you to go rob a bank with them. It's just food. Hang out, be social. We talk about Asian cultures and whatnot, and they live so long, and we talk all about their diets, and, what about the community that Asian people have? The solidarity, the support, those things. I think a lot of us are missing that type of stuff. I have a question on my intake questionnaires. It's, do you feel isolated and lonely? And maybe about 90% of people check yes to that question. I'm like, hey, when was the last time you actually hung out with somebody? And they're like, oh, I can't even remember the last time I actually hung out and had some fun. So we got to have fun. We got to be people. We got to live. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's my take on that. Yes, it's not just about diet and exercise. It's about everything. It's about, 10, 11, 12 things that you got to put together, and those are the recipe for health and, some awesome lifestyle and longevity and everything you want out of life.
Yeah, a true holistic approach to it. I like that.
Oh, totally. Gosh, I mean, you got people out there who aren't doing what they're passionate about. You got people who are hating their jobs, who are in bad relationships, people who have, fear-based mentalities, not going after what they want in life. Their values and their beliefs and their habits suck. These things all funnel into their health. You know what I mean? A lot of folks are miserable medicating themselves with foods. And, as long as you have that faulty mindset, you might always have these poor habits and, lifestyle things that are going on with them. You really have to get down to the root cause. I mean, you may have a personal training client who loses weight and gets to a certain point, and then she freaks out and starts eating up the house. Some of that could be going on in her mind because, hey, the last time she was fit and healthy, men used to hit on her all the time. She used to be in relationships, and the guys would abuse her or something like that. And now she's starting to lose weight, and she's starting to get that attention again, and she associates that with being abused. And so she starts going in the wrong direction and makes excuses and blames you, and it's just really all in her head. And so we really have to get super holistic with this stuff. And that was one thing I didn't like to do with personal training. I was like, I'm tired of being everybody's therapist. I got my own problems, But those problems that your clients have a whole lot to do with the problems that they have with their health. And so we have to try to address them all, or at least have somebody to refer them out to get help for those things.
Absolutely. Do what you do best and refer out the rest.
Absolutely.
I love it. Sean, I asked you for about 20 to 30 minutes today. I knew we would go over. I'm going to try to wrestle you or something to get you back on the show. There's just so much I want to talk to you about. One last question for you. I want to do this at the end of every show. It's just a random question I'm going to throw at you. What was the most fun you ever had at a party?
Oh, wow. My 30th birthday, we did a pub crawl. And I will be honest with you, I'm not saying a great example. This is in the early days of Underground Wellness. I couldn't even remember what happened. I heard all of these stories that I did, and it was just erased from my mind. And we had it on video, and I lost the video camera, though. And I was just so mad because I didn't have any record of it. And like 3 months later, when my personal training client comes in, she says, I have a surprise for you. And she pulled out the video camera, and I was like, what? Where was it? Oh, you put it in such and such's purse, and I just saw it the other day, and she gave it to me. And I watched that. I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I mean, freestyle battles in the middle of the bar. It was great. But I don't encourage people black out and whatnot. It was my 30th birthday, and we had a blast.
Living life, just like you said. And it's a big one. Well, Sean, again, thank you so much for being on. I'd love to have you back on. For everybody listening, you can find Sean at undergroundwellness.com and darksideoffatloss.com. Highly recommend picking up his book. I found it to be phenomenal, and everybody knows I don't plug anything or promote anything that I don't fully agree with, and I thought this was just a great read. So, Sean, thank you again so much for taking time out of your day. I hope you had a great workout, and if we can, I'd love to get you back on.
For sure. Thank you, Doug.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Fitness Professional Online Radio Show. We appreciate you listening. Again, take a moment if you can to go over to iTunes and rate the show. If you do have any criticisms or suggestions, we'd appreciate getting those via email at info@fitnessprofessionalonline.com or by leaving a message on our voicemail, 805-500-6893. And please check out fitnessprofessionalonline.com regularly as the events will be updated. Just a list of a few events for this week that are listed on the site. The Czech Holistic Lifestyle Coach Program Level 1 will be taking place in San Francisco this week. Also, suspension-based exercise programs will be taking place in New York City. The Essentials of Elite Performance, step-by-step training for world-class mobility, flexibility, balance, vision, and speed will be taking place in Houston. This and a lot more on fitnessprofessionalonline.com. We'll continue to bring you as much as we can on the show, as well as via our newsletter. So on behalf of myself, Doug Holt, and the rest of the Fitness Professional Online team, we're going to wish you a great week and take care.
You can join in on the conversation at fitnessprofessionalonline.com. If you have any questions for Doug Holt or the staff regarding Fitness Professional Online Radio, please feel free to email us at radio@fitnessprofessionalonline.com or call us at 805-500-6893. Have a happy and healthy week.